Joining us now is Rocco Palmo, a Vatican journalist. Larry, say good morning as well.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for being with us. You saw the little piece we did there about the legacy of Pope Francis. Anything that you think people might forget about that we should mention this morning?
Well, again, Robin, if we were going to do the full Francis legacy, we'd be here till the funeral, which is probably going to be on Saturday. But uniquely for Chicago, and it's interesting you show Cardinal Cupich. You know, I don't know how if people in Chicago realize the extent of the influence that Cardinal Cupich has had on the wider church. And really, he was, much like Francis himself, was seen to be someone whose kind of time had come and gone when Francis was elected in 2013. But out of nowhere, almost from Spokane, Washington, here comes this new Archbishop of Chicago, who ends up becoming, you know, again, one of the most influential figures in the Catholic world over these last 12 years. And usually the Cardinal is not the type, I think Chicagoans know this, to kind of put his heart on his sleeve, show his emotions. But the statement we received this morning from the Cardinal was uniquely grief-stricken. And obviously now there's the pressure of thinking about what's next in terms of the church. So it's going to be quite a month we're in for.
What was the dynamic in play a dozen years ago that allowed for such a transformational pope, and one who was certainly more liberal than his predecessor?
I wouldn't say liberal, Steve, before anything else, or Larry, forgive me, it's a long morning.
That's all right.
One after another today.
Yeah.
But every pope has his emphases, and much like the conductor of an orchestra, you give some give some weight to some things, others give weight to other things, but they're all in the score of the music. Here, the score of the music is the gospel of Jesus Christ, the teachings of the church, which run the gamut. You know, we always say in this country, Catholics are politically homeless because there's no one party that's a natural fit for the entirety of Catholic teaching. But interestingly, too, as people start thinking about a successor, the wider world does, you know, Jorge Bergoglio, as he was then, Cardinal Bergoglio, only really emerged in the minds of the cardinals about 3 days before the election began. Every cardinal, in about 10 days from now, will have about 5 minutes to speak to every other cardinal about what the state of the church is. That's the question they're asked. They're not asked who, they're asked what. And from that what, you start thinking of people. And he gave this speech. It was very brief. Unlike most other cardinals, they didn't have to cut the microphone on him because he didn't go over his time. But he said, basically, Jesus needs to be out in the streets, and we in the church are keeping him locked in the church, and he's knocking on the door from inside trying to get out. And when they heard this, they sat up and they basically said, okay, this is someone we should be looking at. Now, his age and his nationality, of course, there had never been a non-European pope, at least not in over 1,000 years. So everything else became secondary, even the fact that he didn't know English, which we've kind of taken for granted popes doing the last 40, 50 years. So, and again, that's how this process, again, this time, you know, I know people think they know about conclaves from having seen the movie. This is not like the movie. It's something much more intense. It's something much more, it's really an atmosphere of prayer that takes over, and it's an atmosphere of fear. Because, you know, once you hand over those keys to someone, you know, Catholics believe that the papacy, that the Pope holds the keys to the kingdom of heaven. That comes from Jesus and the gospel. Once you hand those keys over, you can't take them back. And now for the first time, we have a College of Cardinals that's more international than it's ever been. We have almost 140 cardinals, 30 more than ever before going in to elect a new Pope. So there's a lot of vetting that has to be done. There's a lot of, but this is Francis's legacy. He wanted the church to look more like the church, which is a universal church and not a European one and not a North American one. Yeah. And so again, the layers of the legacy are going to take a lot of time to process. But just the fact that we're not even 24 hours past when he was riding around the crowd yesterday.
Right. It's unbelievable.
And, you know, but like a good stubborn Italian, he wanted to push himself to the last minute. He pushed himself way too hard, you know, against the advice of his doctors. And but he wanted to go his way, and he died with his boots on, literally.
Unbelievable. And, you know, you mentioned the conclave. There's that famous saying that I remember hearing in 2013, he who enters the conclave as a pope leaves it as a cardinal. So it's usually people that you don't think of at all.
Well, again, Francis himself only emerged about 4 days before, and the other great Italian saying is, "Il Papa si fa in conclave." The Pope is made in the conclave, meaning not in the newspapers or on TV, not in the streets. It's made in that atmosphere of prayer, in that atmosphere of really looking at the world and saying, what does the church, what does the world need in a Pope? And obviously, the simplicity of phrase, but again, very tough act to follow. I mean, let's just start. I mean, if you want to succeed this guy, you're immediately disqualified because you got to be half crazy if you want the job. Let's just be honest here.
You've alluded to this, that the growth of the church has been in the southern part of the globe. How important is continuity to the church, or do they look at, say, hey, we need to prop up where we are the weakest?
It's, again, Steve, there are as many skill sets or as many sets of priorities going into this as there are the number of voting cardinals. Again, we're talking 138. Usually the last couple conclaves have been between 110 and 115. So again, we will see this emerge in real time because these cardinals don't know each other so well, and they're not unlike under John Paul, Benedict, past popes. Usually, historically, cardinals have been concentrated in major cities, like a Chicago. Hey, Chicago still has one. But most other places in the world, like my own hometown of Philadelphia, which has had cardinals for about 100 years. We don't have a cardinal anymore. This is the first time since 1922 a cardinal from Philadelphia will not be going in. This is the first time since the 1950s that a cardinal from Los Angeles will not be going into the conclave. And you multiply that by other places in the world. And a lot of these cardinals exist in situations where Catholics are a distinct, often persecuted minority. They bring something new to the table here. So again, we can talk about it in theory, but only now with this realization, okay, we cannot avoid, the choice we have to make. And usually you keep it in the back of your mind. It only doesn't really become real until right now, even for them. We're going to just see it unfold. And so I don't want to get ahead of them. They're the ones who make the call, not me.
Well, Rocco, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Rocco Palmo, thanks again.
Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you, guys.